Did you hear about the Tails game that got cancelled on the Genesis?
No.
He like hunts for treasures or something? Tails Treasure Trust? Oh, we're on. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Tetrahedron. So it's a brand new year, 2021. Life still sucks, but here we are with a brand new Q&A. So we asked you guys for a couple of questions. About 9 of you replied, but hey ho, let's do it anyway. So what I decided to do was list the YouTube users in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with Frogger. Now, Frogger's profile picture is just a white image. So I'm going to change it with this Frogger picture.
Oh.
Yes. So the first question from Frogger is, what do me and you, Dexter and HonestReviewo, what do we want to see in a brand new Crash Bandicoot and Sonic the Hedgehog game?
Oh. What would I like to see in a new Crash Bandicoot?
I don't think we need a new Crash Bandicoot. I think Crash 4 has covered all the bases. There doesn't need to be another Crash.
I personally would like to see a new Crash game which I don't know. Crash 4 did a lot for the series. It added the grinding and the swinging, and it's a very fun game. I can't really
Too hard though.
It's a bit too difficult. Maybe lower down the difficulty.
Yes, let's have a Crash game that's less challenging.
I mean, Crash 1, 2, and 3 on the original PlayStations is very, they're challenging in their own right, but they're very fun. I also just found some trivia. Actually, I didn't know this. You know in Crash Bandicoot 2, the little beam that shoots you and you shrink really tiny? Did you know you can spin that and whack it away?
You can whack the beam.
You can whack the beams.
Oh my god.
I know. I just found that out.
Does that work in the remake as well?
Possibly. I don't know. I haven't tried it on the remake.
You can whack the beams.
You can whack the beams.
That makes that part so much easier.
No one told me this. I feel like an idiot.
I thought you were the Crash 2 master. That's what you kept saying when you played it. You kept saying, I'm the Crash 2 master.
No,
Look how good I am.
Actually, that was you. But I guess for a new Crash game, I'd like to see the return of Ripperoo. And maybe a playable Ripperoo.
Co-op.
Co-op. Yes, a bit
if you run out of ideas, just bring us co-op.
You know what? I agree. I think a co-op Crash Bandicoot that plays like the classic Crash Bandicoot, and you have Ripperoo, I'm sold.
I mean, look at New Super Mario Brothers. They ran out of ideas. So what do? They brought in co-op.
And as for Sonic, I want to see Sonic Adventure 3. But to build up that kind of excitement, I want them to remake Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 first, and then get to number 3. I mean, how cool would it be to have a collection called the Sonic Adventure Legacy, and it's Adventure 1 and 2?
What kind of remakes would you want, though? Do you want, like, from the ground up? Do you want them to, like, be faithful remakes, or do you want them to be, like, completely revamped, like a reimagining?
I think reimagining, because I think Big the Cat could be cut, and... or made more fun, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe give Amy a bit more fun to gameplay. There's so much you can do with Amy's hammer in that game.
But do you think there's like a fear that if they like... like one of the unique points of Sonic Adventure is like the story's told from different points of view. Do you think like if they remade it, they'll just end up making it just one point of view and then you're like, oh, the originality's lost because now you just can't, intercut the stories?
Well, I don't know, it depends. I mean, I would like them to keep the whole different point of views, the POVs, because it was great. It was very ahead of its time, Sonic Adventure. And I'd like to see Sonic Mania 2. And personally, I want all new levels. I want Mighty and Ray to be continued to stay in the game, so I'll keep Mighty and Ray. Add Classic Amy's playable, possibly Classic Metal Sonic playable. And, that fan character that everyone's loving right now, Eggman's niece? Put her in the game.
There's now a question for the other guy, which is...
I've got a question. I never got questions in the other ones.
Yeah, I think you're getting more of a fan base.
I'm becoming the fan favorite of the things.
So, Frogger asks, do you like blue balls?
What? No, seriously, what's my question?
Yeah, it's do you like blue balls?
Do I like blue balls? What, is it a joke? You think this is funny? You guys get good questions, like, what do you want to see a new Crash in Sonic? Do you like blue balls?
Well... Do you like blue balls?
I mean, it's very vague, isn't it? What kind of balls do I like? I mean, what kind of balls? Is it bouncy balls? Does he mean, like, regular balls, big football, blue footballs? I'm gonna have to say, I can't answer that question. Sadly, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Maybe if you ask it again and give us a bit more basis, I can answer it, but right now I cannot. What was that?
Sorry, the bottle.
Oh my gosh. That made me jump for just a second there. I don't know if you heard in the microphone, but gosh, it made a jump.
Anyway. So we got another 3 questions. The first 2 is directed at us again.
Okay.
So the first one is, what's your favorite animated feature, and also what did you think of Soul?
What's my favorite animated feature film? It's a bit difficult because I like to put the Toy Story trilogy as one. Does that count?
No. We have 3 different movies. You gotta pick one.
I have to pick one. Oh, it's a hard choice, but one of the Toy Story films, definitely. Because it's weird. When I rewatched all 3 again before watching 4, 1 was my favorite. And then when number 3 came out, 3 was my favorite. And I was obsessed with Toy Story 2 for a while. I'm going to say, it's a tough choice. I'm going to say Toy Story 2.
I can't pick one. I love so many. I love many animated films for very different reasons.
The Lion King.
Just a few off the top of my head. Yes, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, The Prince of Egypt, Shrek.
The Road to El Dorado. Yes, that definitely needs more
obviously,
love.
yes, Toy Story. Like the first, Toy Story 2, A Bug's Life, Incredibles, Ratatouille.
Early Pixar films.
The Iron Giant. And of course, there's all the animated films I haven't discovered. I can't pick my favorite animated movie, so I'll have to pass.
No, you have to pick one.
But,
I was forced to pick one.
Okay, fine. Off the top of my head, Titan AE.
Titan AE.
And what did I think of Soul?
I haven't seen Soul yet, so I can't really say because Dexter watched it without me.
I did.
I watched it though. It was a very good film. I felt very moved, very emotional.
That's not to you. Get away. It's not about you.
I thought to be honest with you, I wanted to really love it, but there was parts of the movie that I found troubling, and I thought it was sending the wrong message to children. But it looks great. It's a beautiful movie. It looks great. But Soul is also the kind of movie where we have obviously a black protagonist who becomes some sort of non-black entity again. You know, in the same way Princess and the Frog, Tiana becomes a frog.
Oh yeah.
We have the spy movie where Will Smith becomes a pigeon or
bird.
bird.
Oh my gosh.
And now we have Soul where Jamie Foxx becomes a blue thing. So again, I don't know what it is.
But you also have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but he didn't turn into anything unless you say he became Spider-Man, but he didn't turn into a spider.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse is the exception. Also, hey, that's a great animated movie.
Of course, that's one of my favorites.
Into the Spider-Verse, yes, that's the exception. But whenever they seem to have a black protagonist from the big studios, they want to turn him into a bloody pigeon. So the next question is, what do you think about the Crash Time retcon being the biggest game retcon ever? And do you think more old series should be retconned for new timelines?
I was a little bit disappointed by the story a little bit, because it felt a bit rushed in places. Like Embryo's just there, you know?
Yeah. And he's on Cortex's side, even though he was the enemy in the last one.
Even though in Crash Bandicoot 2, he's like, I'm against Cortex. And I was a bit confused by that, unless it's an embryo from another dimension, but they didn't really make that clear. And even Dingo Dial, as much as he was great fun to play, I felt like he wasn't really needed in the game.
No.
There was a few random glitches we came across. That really hilarious one where, some odd reason, obviously Dingo Dial gives Crash a boost on that bit when they're chasing the blimp, chasing Cortex in the future world, in that cutscene. And for us, for some odd reason, Crash and Dingo Dial merged and became this creepy hybrid of Bandicoot Dingo Dial creature, like a giant Crash Bandicoot with Dingo Dial's face. It was really scary.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I wish we filmed that, because I tried to make it happen again and it's not happening.
In regards to more old series should be retconned, I personally think Star Fox Zero, massive missed opportunity to retcon the franchise. Obviously with Star Fox, you had Star Fox Command, which was the game, which sort of had all the alternate endings. What they should have done is they should have released Star Fox 64 3D, and then Star Fox Zero should have been a retcon of the franchise in which we acknowledge the alternate timeline of Star Fox Assault and Star Fox Adventures and all that, but then we go into a new path where Pepe's still part of the Star Fox team, Falco's there, the original lot are there, There's a brand new adventure, so time travel plot. That's what it should have been. Instead, we just get Star Fox Zero, which is just another remake of Star Fox 64. Because all they want to do is remake Star Fox 64. And then we have another question for the other guy.
Oh my gosh!
Another question. And this one is.
Hold on, let me get ready. I hope it's a good question this time because the blue balls wasn't really specific.
Well, this question is.
Okay.
Do you think size matters?
Do I think size matters? As in, like, the video game, Ratchet & Clank size matters? I think it matters. I think it's a really good game.
I think the question is literally referring to: do you think size does matter in products or video games or whatever?
Well, I do prefer smaller games.
Elaborate.
Well, I like smaller games. That's why I'm assuming. Is that what he means? Like Crash Bandicoots with the smaller scale, where I think is much better. Or does he mean Ratchet & Clank size matters? Because a lot of people don't like that game.
That question doesn't make any sense if you say, do you think Ratchet & Clank size matters? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
It makes sense to me, so I'm going to see it as a Ratchet & Clank question. I think Ratchet & Clank size matters. Does matter. It was a good PSP game. It didn't get enough love.
Alright, okay. So that's all the questions from Frogger. Now we're going to move on to Jeremy Middleton.
Oh.
And Jimmy says, where did the name of your channel come from? So we were heavily inspired by Screw Attack, which you might remember from
Game trailers. Oh yeah.
And it was Stunning Craig and Handsome Tom, and then it was replaced by Nervous Nick, who wasn't as good as Handsome Tom. You know, they called themselves Screw Attack, which is a reference to Metroid, and so we were like,
we wanted to do something.
We wanted to do a
reference to something like a video game. Like,
yes.
Like we were going to do the Spin Attack, but it sounded like Screw Attack. And
the Spin Attack.
We were going to do Spin Dash, but also sounded similar to Screw Attack.
Yeah.
And we also went for other names, such. What was the other weird one?
We also
you had?
just went for Attack, but that didn't work.
No. What was that weird one you had? You came up with that really, really weird one.
Plasma Rifle.
Oh, Plasma Rifle. Was it Plasma Rifle?
Plasma Beam.
Plasma Beam.
Yes.
Plasma Beam VA and VG. Sorry.
Plasma Beam VG. Yes, I remember that. We had that one for a while. We
had it for a while.
We
the
had
first
it for
set
a while.
of videos. Yeah, the first.
But then I
first
re-edited
videos,
them.
We saw
to remove it.
Yeah, somehow he did some weird effects on the computer, and as we spoke in the video, it's like, Plasma Beam VG.
So we were thinking about the name, and then I remember we were talking about the name, and I remember I looked at the Triforce from Zelda, and
then you looked at me and went, "Why don't we just call it Donkey Kong?"
I didn't say that. No. We looked at the Triforce. I said, if you put the Triforce together, you get a triangular pyramid, which is known as a tetrahedron. And I said, why don't we call ourselves the Tetrahedron? Because if you lay a tetrahedron out, it's a Triforce, and that's where it came from. And if you actually watch the intro to the Tetrahedron, when the triangles come together, you'll notice that they come together like the Triforce, and then they form together to make an upside down tetrahedron. So that's why we call it the Tetrahedron. And VG stands for very good. So that was that one. So
thank you, Jeremy.
We move on to Korin Tower, who wished us a Merry Christmas, and then asked,
Merry Christmas to you too.
And then asked us, what was your favorite video to work on and why?
There's been a lot of favorite ones.
We're just going to talk about the new ones, I think, because the old ones were so old.
I was going to mention the one when you have the symbiote. That was quite funny. Overrated prices on eBay.
I mean, they're so rough. The old ones are so rough, though. Like, it's difficult to really.
I think if you go by overall, my favorite currently is still the history of Crash Bandicoot. It was just so fun to put together, so fun to watch, so fun to record, and the humor in that is really funny. I think anyway.
You and the other guy just do the voiceovers. I mean, I do all the scripting and the editing.
Yeah, but
you occasionally write a few scripts.
I add bits.
Yeah, improvised.
My favorite video
this is actually one of the reasons why we had a falling out. It was the workload of the Tetrahedron. I remember saying to HonestReviewo, I said, if you don't pull your weight, it's all going to come on me, and it's going to cause a big rift, and then that's what happened. And,
but I'm not an editor, so...
No. But you can write. You can.
And I find the soundtracks. I give them the music.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do. Because I asked you to do it.
And I help out with the scripts, and we improvise. But I say history of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I actually I'm quite fond of all of the new ones. I think the first, like Paz Dragoon history and the Sonic video, Sonic Adventure 2 is better. No, Sonic Adventure is better. They're sort of like us sort of getting back into the flow, and I think everything from Crash Bandicoot's been pretty consistent in terms of quality. There's certain ones that I remember editing or scripting and then not being too fond of it, and then watching it back and going, oh yeah, actually I really enjoyed this one. And one of them was actually the history of Turrican, like the whole, that's what I call Turrican 87, I actually think is really, I think it's a really super polished section of the video. And I'm really happy with how that turned out. Then we got Nathaniel Foga. And
it must be Foga, like yoga.
Foga. Yeah, Yoga Foga. Nathaniel, apologies if we mispronounce your name. And you ask us, what's your favorite guilty pleasure game?
Well, for me, it's got to be Sonic 3D Blast, because a lot of people don't like that game, but I actually love that game. I love playing it. I love the soundtrack. I find it very nostalgic, and it's a good game. I really enjoy it. That's my guilty pleasure, I guess.
I don't know. I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I think if you like something, you should just embrace it and say, I like this game. I don't care if people think it's bad.
What's your favorite game that's like everyone doesn't like?
I like the Star Fox GameCube games. I think they're both very good. I think Star Fox Zero is actually very good. I actually think all the later Star Fox games are nowhere near as bad as people make them out to be. I think Adventures is good. I think Assault is good. I think Command is good. And I think Star Fox Zero is good. I think they're all great games. Star Fox Zero is actually super playable. And people who say the controls don't work, well, I played it. Didn't have a problem.
For me, it's gotta be, I used to be a big Atari guy. I used to play Pac-Man a lot on there. That was really a buggy mess, but I enjoyed it. Also really enjoyed E.T.
You mean the game, the E.T. on the Atari?
Yes, a lot of people hate that game, but I had a good time playing it. I found it very relaxing. It had me in dark places, so I loved it. I personally think it's better than the film.
What?
What? No!
Like one of the greatest films of all time? You think the game is better?
Yes, the soundtrack's better than the game as well.
The soundtrack?
The game
Are you sure? I don't think it even has a soundtrack. Are you sure you were playing E.T.?
Yes, it was E.T. for the Atari.
Right, so thanks for that. Now, Quad Returns asks a very personal question.
Personal?
Are we English? And when he says are we English, he's referring to are we from England? Because we talk about things like Weetabix, and I don't remember talking about Ed Miliband.
I do. I remember that.
You do? Which video was that?
I forgot which one it was, but I remember you mentioning him.
Well, the reality, the truth is that
we're actually two American guys that happen to be living in Britain.
Yes, we've
got to love the British culture.
I came here to study, and I stay here, and
I was studying.
HonestReviewo fell in love with an Asher cosplayer, and
yes.
at one of the UK-based Comic Cons, and well, that ended disastrously.
Yes.
I'm sorry for bringing her up.
No,
I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm really sorry.
Fine.
That's probably why our accents can't be placed very well because
we're
we've
Americans.
been living here for so long. The accents get muddled.
We're Americans, but when we hear the British accent, our minds start talking British.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say British words out of the blue, and it's like, oh.
And like,
I want to play some football.
I remember being at uni, and you'd speak to people from the north, and they'd be like, after a while, they'd lose their northern accent, and then they'd start speaking like,
And I know someone whose father was American, and now he just speaks with a British accent.
Oh, yeah, you got people like that who are just combo accents.
Oh, well, we can't explain where the other guy comes from, can we?
Huh?
I don't remember how I met him.
Well, I remember how I met you guys.
How did you meet us?
Doesn't matter.
So that's the reality of the situation.
It just happens. You lose your accent sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get stuck in that middle ground where it's American and not so American. If that makes sense, and
Yeah, and I mean, my voice I do slightly exaggerated for the videos.
Yeah,
I mean,
because his voice is a lot more quieter than this.
my real voice is like, "Hello, my name's Dextermorri." You know,
See? I told you, he's
So
losing his American. He's
hello,
losing it.
hello.
I'm hanging on there. I'm hanging on.
I'm Dextermorri. How are you doing? So then again, it's very quiet. So I've had a bit of Groucho Marx in there just to
Speak louder
just
on the
to
mic.
give it a bit more
In fact,
volume.
when we record these videos, you won't believe where I'm sitting. I'm far away from the microphone, but I sound quite close.
Yeah.
Well, Dexter has to sit near the mic.
I literally have to sit like this close.
Put your glasses on.
Quad Returns also asks, we play a lot of games from the 5th generation onwards, but have we ever thought about making videos on games that came out for consoles before then? And he talks about how he's been bored of modern games and he's checking out old games on the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo and even obscure consoles like the TurboGrafx 16, the Neo Geo, and
Neo
he's
Geo.
been enjoying those. I feel like we do make old
There's
generation games.
we do Turricans and
We did the Origins. We've done. I mean, I guess
actually
we predominantly do 5th generation onwards. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a few though. We did Sonic 3 versus Mario Brothers 3 and Sonic 3 1. I remember that.
I don't know. I feel like we do cover a lot of the older games. I feel
not-
like we don't
enough.
we don't really cover new games at all.
I mean, it's rare we talk about modern games. I mean, I rarely play many modern games. Really, I mean,
yeah.
the games I'm trying to think right now. What do I play from the modern games besides Ratchet and Clank, Gravity Rush, Uncharted?
Quite a few actually.
Actually, no, we play quite a few. Most of them are Nintendo and Sony, but we don't talk about them much. I mean, I hardly speak about Gravity Rush on this show. I mean,
we're gonna do
channel. Sorry,
we're gonna do a complete history on F-Zero, which is gonna be focusing on 16-bit games, and we've got obviously Jack and Daxter is 6th generation, and we will be doing Metal Gear, which is gonna be the whole shebang. That's gonna be.
He says that Metal Gear,
and that's gonna be from 8-bit, so that's gonna be NES, the MSG computer, whatever it was. So. Yeah, we're gonna do the history videos. We're just gonna go back.
I find Dexter's voice very, very fun to imitate. I go back,
go back,
back.
The next question is from Ray. And Ray says, "Tell us about who
Ray
you are."
Oh, Ray is an R-A-Y. I was thinking Ray from Star Wars for some reason.
No, and Ray is asked, "Tell us about who you are and what are your favorite games."
Who am I? I am HonestReviewo, and that is all you need to know.
And I'm Dextermorri. And I guess we're
like to keep
talking about quite a lot.
We have to keep our personal life personal. we kind of hint ourselves like who we are through the videos. So you kind of get a gist. I'm a Sega guy. Dexter's Nintendo guy. The other guy is the other guy.
Yeah.
Hey.
But my favorite games, well, like I just said, I'm a more. I don't know. I mean, I say I'm like Sega guy, but I say I'm more of just a Sonic guy.
Yeah.
I guess to sum up short, I'm going to try and think of my top 5 games. Not in order, though. So I'm going to say Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Smash Bros. Melee, Crash Bandicoot 2, Abe's Exodus, one more. I'm going to pick Klonoa 2.
I mean, for me, a couple of games off the top of my head that some of my favorites.
Do 5.
Star Fox 64, Super Mario Brothers 3. But I like the version from Super Mario All Stars. I like the 16-bit version. Super Mario 64, Oddworld Abe's Exodus as well. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Metroid Prime, Super Metroid, Sly 2 Band of Thieves.
Okay, you're adding more now. If you're adding more, I gotta add more. I gotta add Turrican 2, Lemmings,
Jack and Daxter,
Jack
Legacy,
2, Soul
Ratchet and Clank
Calibur
3,
2, Croc Legend
Gears
of
of
the
War,
Gobos,
Tetris,
Team Buddies,
PC game, Lego Races, Lego Races 2,
Crash Bandicoot,
Mario Paint
F-Zero
Studio, F-Zero GX,
Nights into Dreams,
Adventures of Cookie and Cream, Dance Day Fusion Mix,
that game,
Stretch
Bug, that's a good game.
David
Bug.
Beckham Soccer.
And then the next question from Ray is, what are some games you'd like to make a comeback? For me, the big games I wanted to see come back was Rayman, which happened with Rayman
Star
Origins.
Fox.
It was Star Fox, which happened with Star Fox Zero, and it was
Sly Raccoon.
Sly Cooper, which came back
And
with
it
Sly
happened in
4.
order as well.
They all came back. I'm happy. Now I want to see a new F-Zero. For God's sakes, I want a new F-Zero.
I personally would like to see Klonoa come back. I know there's rumors going around of Klonoa Encore that's meant to be like rumored and coming. People think it's a collection game of 1 and 2 remastered, even though number 1 was remastered with a Wii make. You get it? Wii make.
Remake, yeah, it's very clever.
Ah, see, I'm smart. Not really. I'm an idiot. I couldn't even play Karushi. I couldn't work it out until like years later. No, I feel Klonoa is something I want to come back. I would like to see Croc return. I mean, the guy who owns Croc has shown interest in bringing it back with a Croc remake because of Crash Bandicoot's success and Spyro's success. So hopefully that will happen. I guess at the moment, Klonoa and Croc are the main two I really want to see return. Because Spyro came back, Crash came back, Sonic went back to its roots.
I would like to see, personally, a new Ape Escape.
Oh my goodness, of course.
Ape Escape, of course.
But I'm not craving a new Ape Escape, you know?
But
like,
it deserves
Ape
a
Escape
new
2
game.
is definitely one of my favorites, but I don't crave a new Ape Escape.
Well, that goes to the question. Did Ape Escape 3, make you feel like now you're done? Or do you think Ape Escape 3 was
Ape Escape 3
it
just needed to be more different from the first two, I think, to really be a big step forward.
Yeah, I guess because Ape Escape 2 was like a massive,
it was a massive improvement.
Massive improvement. It was a massive change.
Like,
and then Ape Escape 3 was just... Ape Escape 3 was number 2 again.
Boss battles, more gadgets.
The freaky monkey
It
vibe.
was just excellent.
Especially that yellow monkey, really scary. Still terrifies me to this day, actually.
Yes.
I don't like that monkey.
So moving on, we've got Yum Rum, or at Fried Rum, and Rum asks us, now that the 3DS is discontinued, do we plan on making a list of our favorite 3DS games?
Oh,
that's a good idea.
That's a good one.
The thing is, I've still got 3DS games I haven't played yet. Like, I've got Fire Emblem Awakening sitting there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's funny. This guy has still not played Luigi's Mansion 2.
You haven't played the Luigi's Mansion remake.
Yeah, but at least I've played the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's still loads of 3DS games I need to play. So maybe once I've played them, maybe we'll do a top 10 3DS game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got my top 5 in my head already.
And to be honest with you, with the 3DS, I mean, not to be rude to the 3DS, there's a lot of good games I enjoy for it, but I kind of there's nothing that I go, oh yeah, that was a great game. You know what I mean? Like, I think all of them, I'm like, oh yeah, that was fun. But none that I think are amazing, you know? You know, like when you play a really good game, you get that feeling like, yeah, this game's special. I didn't get that with any of them.
Yeah, like for me, the Sonic Advance games.
But we'll think about it. And then finally, you have another question, and it says, what are our thoughts on the current state of Nintendo in general?
I think they're doing pretty well. I mean, Nintendo Switch has brought a lot of interest back into Nintendo into people's homes, because a lot of people I knew it's weird. When I was in school, only a few of us were supporting GameCube. Everyone was against GameCube for some odd reason. Everyone's like, oh, GameCube's for babies. Oh, GameCube's terrible. But I will give them one thing. They have good graphics. Look at the water graphics. And I'm like, no, GameCube's a great console. GameCube is a classic. So yeah, there was this phase where, for me, anyway, around me, nearly everyone was all anti-Nintendo. And they're like, oh, who wants to play the Wii? That's for children. That's for families. But the Wii also had good games. Mario Galaxy, Smash Bros. Brawl.
That's not the feeling with the Switch, though, is it? The Switch is like...
there's something about the Switch that everyone loves. Everyone I knew that goes, oh, I'm anti-Nintendo, I've all brought a Switch. And that just says a lot about Nintendo's current state of gaming. Like, while the Switch they have a lot of games that's just like Wii U games in some ways, such as Mario Brothers Deluxe and Captain Toad and Pokken Tournament is also on there as well. But also, I can see why they've just reported some of these games on the system, because the Wii U sadly didn't do as well as it hoped.
For me, Nintendo are doing really well on some things. I think some of their new game output is phenomenal. I think Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey are like franchise best in terms of quality. I think Mario Odyssey is the best 3D Mario. My only concern with Nintendo right now is that because they're doing so well, they are in a way resting on their laurels, and they're only giving us games that sell well. They're a bit like Disney. Disney just produced the same sort of movies, and they don't take any risks. And as a result, their output sort of becomes a bit samey. Nintendo, it's like, oh, here's another Donkey Kong game, here's another Splatoon game.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Whereas like the Wii U, because the Wii U, they struggled. Nintendo gave us something like Splatoon, they gave us something like Pikmin 3, and they gave us something like Star Fox Zero, because they knew they needed the fan base to drive sales, and they knew they needed the fans to keep them afloat. So they took risks, you know, because you know they made Star Fox Zero, and they lost money on it, you know, and they produced Bayonetta 2, and Bayonetta wasn't like a massive game, but they took the gamble because they thought we need to please our fans. So you know that's the thing with Nintendo. When Nintendo struggles, they support their fans more. You know, if you think about the GameCube.
Yeah, I was gonna say the GameCube.
The GameCube was you know, they didn't do as well compared to Xbox and PS2, and as a result,
you got a lot of quality games. We got Metroid Prime.
We got the 2 Metroid Primes. We got Star Fox games. We got an
Thousand Year
F-Zero
Door
game. Paper Mario. You know, I mean, we got a new Paper. You know what I mean? Like the new Paper Mario is.
Well, like you said, you got 2 Zelda games.
Yeah, and we had Risk, and this is the thing about, you know, people saying, oh, Nintendo had no new IPs after Pikmin.
They had Pikmin. And...
But you know, but they say, like, between Pikmin and Splatoon, they're like, oh, there was no new IPs. And it's like, well, actually, there was. You had Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, which, yes, there was only 1 game, but it was a new IP for Nintendo. You had Battalion Wars, which was 2 games. There was 2 Battalion Wars. You had Animal Crossing, which came after Pikmin in the States and in the West. You had Geist. And Geist, again, is a new IP. Yes, there was only 1 game, but it was a new entry for Nintendo. It was an R-rated game.
But even then, like, a lot of people say Nintendo don't have any new IPs, and it's like, well, there's also Splatoon.
Well, yeah, I mean, Splatoon. I mean, people sort of acknowledge Splatoon, and obviously on the Switch you have ARMS. I mean, the existence of ARMS is cool because ARMS is a new IP that sold well, actually, and is interesting. But yeah, I think when Nintendo struggles a bit, they come back to the fans.
They pull everything out of their pockets.
And I think right now with the Switch, I do like my Switch. There's a lot of games I've played on it that I really enjoy. But when people sort of ask me, what should I buy on the Switch? I always say, oh, you've got Zelda and you've got Mario. And then I sort of, oh, Smash Bros. And then it's like, and I sort of freeze. Anyway, that concludes all our questions. So thanks for watching.
Well, I hope that answered your question.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Coming up later this month will be is Mario, a spin-off of Donkey Kong, which is going to be a bit of a shorter video. And then we're going to move on to F-Zero Complete History. So look forward to that. Thank you very much for watching. And, of course, yeah, peace out. Stay safe. Yeah.
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 Where's the other guy gone?